If you produce music, especially if you record vocals, you know the drill. Getting that lead vocal to sit perfectly is often the single hardest thing to do in a mix. And if you're on the UAD platform, like I am, you know the options are overwhelming. We're talking about dozens of legendary high-end compressors, each promising to be the one. Well, today we'll settle the score. I've spent literally thousands of hours. I've compared every major UAD compressor on vocals only, and I've broken them down into a definitive, brutally honest S to D tier list. I'm not just going to tell you which ones are good. I'm going to tell you which couple $100 one plugin you should skip and not buy for vocals, and the single low-key monster that is often overlooked but could be your biggest secret weapon. Stick with me until the very end, because the S tier includes the plugins that are pure effortless magic, and the ultimate vocal chain payoff is waiting. This isn't about general purpose. This is a vocal-centric competition. We're asking one question only. Which one makes your lead vocal sound the most professional, the most present, and the most emotional with the least amount of fuss? I'm going to be giving you the raw, unvarnished truth about these plugins, so you can stop wasting time, money, and DSP and start making better records. My audience, you're the experienced home studio engineer. You're not an amateur. You know what attack and release are, and you demand value. So, my criteria for this S to D tier ranking is laser focused on what we care about when processing a human voice. Here's my criteria: tone and soul. How much character, warmth, or harmonic richness does it musically add? Does it make the vocal sound expensive, vintage, or modern? Does it elevate the emotion of the performance, control, and precision? How accurately and transparently can it manage fast, unpredictable vocal dynamics? Can it tame peaks without sounding compressed? Does it allow for surgical manipulation, efficiency, and flow? How quickly can I dial in a professional sound? Is it a set and forget gem, or does it require 4 hours to dial in? Does it speed up my mixing process? Versatility for vocals. Can it handle whisper soft ballads and an aggressive rock scream? Is it a one-trick pony or a dependable multi-tool? D tier, the costly mistake for vocals. Buy these for drums or bass work, but for vocals, they are a time sink or a total tonal compromise. C tier, the situational saver. These have a niche use case. Solid, but you have better, more versatile options. B tier, the everyday workhorse. Consistent, reliable, and professional. These will get the job done 9 times out of 10. A tier, the competitive edge. Instant vibe, fantastic control, and always a part of my final vocal chain. These are the mixing staples. S tier, the unrivaled game changers. These make my vocals sound finished. They are the secret sauce that takes a vocal from a good to an undeniably great sound. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up to the secret sauce. D tier, the costly mistake for vocals. Listen, every plugin in the UAD ecosystem is a high-quality model of a high-end piece of hardware. But high quality doesn't mean it's the right tool, especially for vocals. These compressors are D tier because they are either too specialized, too sterile, or frankly, there are simply better, cheaper UAD options for your vocals. Starting off is a C Suite C Max. This is D tier. Why? Because it's a mastering tool, disguised as a potential channel insert for a lead vocal. It's just too much. It's too transparent, which sounds counterintuitive. But on a vocal, that doesn't mean it doesn't add the required harmonic depth. It's like trying to perfectly level the volume of a conversation, but with a brick wall limiter. It catches peaks, sure, but it crushes the delicate, life-giving transients that give the vocal presence and air. And it's an easy skip for vocals. Elysia Alpha Compressor. The Elysia Alpha is D tier. This is a mastering engineer's dream. It's surgical, incredibly powerful, and the MS, the mid-side capabilities, are legendary on the stereo bus. But on a mono lead vocal, it's overkill. It strips away too much character, and it's in the pursuit of surgical precision. It demands too much fine-tuning, especially for a single track. It feels too clean, too precise, often leaving the vocals sounding slightly clinical and disconnected from the mix. We want emotion, not a perfect sine wave. Elysia Compressor. Similarly, the Elysia Compressor. This is D tier. This one is built for aggression, for making drums smack and bass lines pump. For vocals, it's far too difficult to control. It has a distinctive, modern, and sometimes harsh signature sound that you'll be fighting against, unless your vocal needs that sound, like a megaphone. The anti-log feature is cool, but for a natural sounding vocal, this is a distraction, not a solution. You'll spend an hour dialing it back when you could just use a UA 1176 in 2 minutes. Valley people, Dyna-mite. This is D tier. Look, if you need a compressed room mic that sounds like paper tearing, this is your guy. But for a lead vocal, it's a disaster. It is too fast and too unforgiving. It instantly brings a brittle, thin quality to the vocal, stripping all the body and making the sibilance unbearable. I hate sibilance. Unless you are specifically going for an early 80s gated snare effect on your voice, which I'm guessing you're not, move along. This is the definition of a specialist tool that costs you time and tone when misused on vocals. And let's not forget DSP. Precision limiter / precision bus compressor. Grouping these two, the precision limiter and bus compressor, they're D tier. These are the older utility-grade plugins that have been completely and utterly outclassed by almost everything on this list. They don't have the tone, the speed, or the vibe that UAD is now known for. You are better off using almost any other compressor, even a legacy 1176 for better results. Don't spend your money here, spend it somewhere else. C tier, the situational saver. Moving to C tier now, these compressors can absolutely work, and in the right niche context, they can even shine. But they are limited in versatility and not where I recommend you start your vocal processing journey. DBX 160 compressor / limiter. The DBX 160 is C tier. It's iconic, punchy, and aggressive. This is a sound of the 80s rock and country bass and drums. For a vocal, it's very effective at adding a hard, forward whack. If you need a hyper-compressed, aggressive, single-syllable, in-your-face effect, it's great. But it's incredibly difficult to make it sound subtle or smooth. The lack of detailed attack/release controls means you're relying on a specific VCA curve, which often leads to a pumping effect that you can't easily dial out. Use it for hyper-aggressive vocal layer, but not as your primary leveler. 2. Coming in second in C tier is Summit Audio TLA 100A Compressor. Wow, that's a mouthful. The TLA 100A is C tier. Beautiful, lovely sound, good tube saturation, and a very gentle, thick optical response. It adds a pleasant roundness and warmth. However, for a dynamic lead vocal, it often feels too slow. Its gentle nature means that fast peaks will often slip through and you'll have to hit it too hard to catch them, which then over-compresses the sustain. It's a gorgeous second stage compressor for color, but it doesn't give you the necessary authoritative control needed for most modern demanding lead vocals. Manly Variable Mu Limiter Compressor. The Variable Manly Mu is C tier. Okay, this is a hot take because in my last video, I said in unison it was S tier, but on a single vocal, I struggle. It adds a deep, luxurious, low mid density that glues a mix, but on a single vocal, that often translates to mud or a lack of clarity. It makes the vocal sound thick, which is great for certain acoustic styles, but often fights the track for space. You spend more time EQing at the low end, it adds, than enjoying its smoothness. A fantastic color box, but not an efficient leveler for the majority of lead vocals. Fatso Junior's SR Tape Sim and Compressor. Fatso is C tier. This is a character generator. Compression is decent, half decent, particularly in spank mode. But the value here is the tape simulation and saturation. If your vocal is too clean and you need instant analog girth and grime, the Fatso is incredible. But the compression characteristics are tied to the saturation, making it less controllable and less versatile than dedicated compressors. You're using it for the vibe, not the superior dynamic control. Use it as a secondary parallel color plugin, not your main workhorse. B tier, the everyday workhorse. B tier is where the mixing actually begins. These compressors are reliable, professional, and will absolutely get you a good quality competitive sound, without a doubt. If you own these, you're already winning. 1. Neve Dynamics Collective. The Neve Dynamics Collection, the 33609. The Neve 33609 is B tier. This is one of the smoothest, most musical VCA compressors ever designed. It has an inherent way of gluing a vocal together, adding weight, and making it feel solid and well engineered. It's perfect for a vocal that needs to sound expensive and consistent without being overly punchy. The downside, it's not the most flexible in its compression curve, and it's slower than the 1176. It's fantastic for a smooth, dense backing vocal bus, or a main vocal that sits slightly back in a dense arrangement. API 2500 Bus Compressor. The API 2500 is B tier. This is one of the few bus compressors that is genuinely a fantastic vocal insert. The thrust feature is a game changer because it makes the compressor react less to the low end, leaving your vocal's body intact while aggressively controlling the mids and the highs. It's punchy, clear, and very forward. It shines on rock and aggressive pop vocals. It doesn't have the vintage tube warmth, but it has a focused, energetic sound that absolutely makes a vocal cut. UA 175B and 176 Tube Compressor Collection. The 175B and 176 is B tier. These are the forgotten cousins of the 1176, but they are absolutely glorious. They are very new designs, meaning they have a gorgeous, thick tube color and a very smooth, non-aggressive compression curve.
Well, take it or leave it, keeps me wondering, what do I know? Am I still dreaming? Is it deja vu? Have I been here before?
The 176 is faster. The 176 is faster and more versatile, capable of a subtle glue or aggressive squash, always with a massive dose of vintage attitude. The 175B is slower and thicker if your vocal is sounding small and sterile. This will inject instant analog life. This sits in B tier only because the character is so strong. It can sometimes be too much for me, and for my transparent needs, it doesn't fit me too well. A tier, the competitive edge. Welcome to A tier. These are the plugins that I consider staples. When a vocal needs to sound instantly professional, present, and undeniable, I start here. These will always be a part of my final vocal chain. They are phenomenal industry standard tools. First one, SSL 4000G bus compressor. The SSL G comp is A tier. I know, another bus compressor, right? But this one is pure magic on individual vocals. The key is its ability to instantly impart a sense of cohesive energy and aggressive snap.
Listen.
Nope. Use a slow attack, 10 to 30 milliseconds to let the transients through, and a fast release like 0.1 to grab the tail. It pushes the mid-range of the vocal forward with that famous VCA sound, giving it confidence and cut. It's perfect for high energy pop, rock, and R&B. It adds a polished, radio-ready edge that few others can match. Fairchild Tube Limiter Collection, specifically the 670. The Fairchild 670 is A tier. This is the definition of expensive sound. It doesn't compress the way you think. It levels and adds the most gorgeous velvety tube color. It sounds like $1,000. The 670 with its dual mono operation, it's perfect for vocals. It makes the vocals sound massive, deep and smooth, like silk draped over concrete.
Oh, you know I came to play, keeping y'all honest, rising from the storm with the keepers of the promise, in a new direction, but still trailblazing sonics. I've been in it for the longest, but just getting started. Oh, it's the fuel for the fire, a flip of the switch, and we're taking it higher. Edge of your seat, down to the wire. Now get up on your feet, sound to sing with the choir. You got me on a mission.
Front and center, spotlight when I enter, the white flag waving, other side surrenders, I be dropping world enders, mind benders, no contenders, 3-point senders, came to silence all pretenders, now I earn my keep, grinding in my sleep, I'm counting dollar signs while y'all counting sheep, seeping through the cracks, I'm deep up in these tracks, 3 steps ahead while y'all 2 steps back, come on, follow the vision, the kids on a mission, no time for indecision, where the headliner's sitting.
It's not the fastest and it's not the most surgical, but for tone, for making a vocal bloom and feel effortlessly luxurious, the 670 is a masterpiece. It's the ultimate vibe compressor. Universal Audio 1176, the 1176 Classic Limiter Compressor Collection. The UAD 1176 collection is A tier. Look, you cannot mix modern music without an 1176. They are the definition of aggressive compression and punch.
If I can go back in time, yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't need no diamonds, need no money, need no anything. If I can go back in time, yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't need no diamonds, need no money, need no anything. I used to grind, stack and repeat. I barely used to eat. I was trying to build a fortune, and now I was trying to make ends meet. And I never knew why they didn't want to meet. Ends tried to make me cry, but I could never weep. I was a big boy, tough boy, I was never weak.
Let's talk about Rev E Blackface, the ultimate workhorse. It's versatile, great for subtle leveling or aggressive squash. It's the cleanest and most dependable. Rev A Blue Stripe, aggressive, gnarly and biting. If you need grit and attitude on a rock vocal, this is S tier. They are the fastest compressors in the game, perfect for catching those unpredictable vocal transients and slamming them into place, giving you the vocal energy and making it feel right there. They are the gold standard for compression. Teletronic's LA3A Classic Audio Leveler. The LA3A is A tier. This is the solid state little brother to the LA2A, and it is a machine. It's faster and punchier than the LA2A with a much more forward, mid-ranged focus sound.
What I get is so much less, 'cause my utmost ain't enough to call humanity. And every time I reach the top, my motivation all but stops, and I go right back to the source of my insanity. Happiness has left her footprints in the sand. Suffering, you serve a purpose that I'm yet to understand.
If the LA2A is thick and warm, the LA3A is bright and articulate. It shines on vocals that need to cut through a busy mix without sounding hyped in the extreme high end. It's the sound of clean, dense 70s and 80s rock vocals. It's simpler, more versatile than a Fairchild, and adds a beautiful, aggressive clarity. It's a must-have. Empirical Labs EL8 Distressor Compressor. The Empirical Labs EL8 Distressor. This is the Swiss Army knife of compressors. It's undeniably powerful and incredibly versatile, able to mimic the smooth opto compression, the aggressive VCA snap, and add built-in saturation all at once. It's a fantastic tool, perhaps the most flexible on the list.
Well, take it or leave it, keeps me wondering, what do I know? Am I still dreaming? Is it deja vu? Have I been healed before?
But for me, it lands in A tier, because it takes more dialing in than my S tier choices. While it can do everything, it sometimes lacks the effortless, instant, untouchable sonic magic that the S tier units impart the moment you drop them on a track. It's a competitive edge, but requires a more intentional hand to get it perfect. S tier, the unrivaled game changer. We've made it. S tier. These three compressors are, in my experienced opinion, the absolute best tools in the UAD ecosystem for achieving a world-class, competitive vocal sound. They maximize tone, control, and efficiency simultaneously. They simply make mixing vocals easier. First one, Teletronic's LA2A Leveler Collection, Silver, Grey, and LA2. The LA2A Collection, this is S tier. This is the most famous vocal compressor, and for good reason. It is the gold standard for leveling. Its optical nature, means it compresses dynamically and musically without sounding like compression.
If you could speak around the silence, how loud would it be? If you could speak around the silence, how loud would it be?
Great, smooth, thick, ultimate vintage warmth. The perfect initial leveler. Silver, a little faster, a little brighter, my favorite of the three for a lead vocal. Combining warmth with presence, it adds a beautiful, undeniable tube warmth and depth, making the vocal feel naturally loud and effortlessly integrated into the mix. It is the definition of tone and soul for vocals. You put it on and the vocal just sounds finished. It is almost always the first compressor in my vocal chain that I use. It is almost always the first compressor I use. The Tube Tech CL1B Mark II compressor. This is S tier. While the LA2A is thick and creamy, the CL1B is silky and modern. It's the definitive, smooth compressor for the last 2 decades of R&B and pop. It is an optical tube unit, so it has warmth, but it offers far more practical control than the LA2A. The ability to select 3 different combinations of fixed and variable attack released makes it incredibly precise. It can gently hug a vocal, bringing it forward and ensuring consistency without ever sounding like it's squeezing the life out of the performance.
Put your feet up, I wanna come and kick it with you. Have a place we could go and got tickets for 2. Show you something different to do. It's all up to you, your decision to choose.
If you need a vocal to be perfectly controlled, effortlessly consistent, and possess a pristine, airy high end, this CL1B is the most musical and transparent tube compressor available for vocals. I love this thing. 3, last one, Capital Mastering Compressor. And finally, S tier number 3. And the one I promised you wouldn't expect. The Capital Mastering Compressor. Why is a mastering compressor in S tier for vocals? Well, because its design philosophy is perfection. It's designed to add density and consistency to an entire mix without changing the tone. For a vocal, that translates to the single most transparent yet solid dynamic control you will find in the UAD platform. I use this as a peak limiter after a character compressor, like the Tube Tech or the LA2A. It catches all the fastest, loudest peaks, hitting the vocal rock solid in the mix without adding any coloration or pumping.
Every man needs a nemesis, a desert that he cannot cross. To keep the soul in wonder, the belly must have hunger. He needs the vultures. And every man needs an Everest, a mountain that he cannot climb. To keep the head humble, the hands from trouble, you can't be comfortable.
It's the secret weapon for getting a vocal competitive, loud, and dense without squashing the life out of it. It's the invisible authority. So, to recap, the competitive promises I made at the start. The couple $100 plugin you should absolutely not buy for vocals, That is the Elysia Compressor. It's D tier. It's too aggressive, too hard to dial in, and there are far more musical options that will save you money, time, and DSP. The low-key monster that is often overlooked, but could be your biggest secret weapon, that is the Capital Mastering Chamber. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's S tier for final peak control. It's the final limiter you need to make your character compressed vocal sit perfectly without sounding squashed. Use it if you like. Here is my typical world-class UAD vocal chain, using only S tier plugins, and why it works. LA2A or TubeTech CL1B. That does the initial smooth leveling of 3 to 5 dB reduction. Use the LA2A for thick vintage warmth. Use the CL1B for pristine modern smoothness. This adds the primary musical character. Then throw in a Capital Mastering Compressor. Following the first stage of the transparent peak limiting, this sucks the vocals levels into the mix, ensuring density and clarity without adding any coloration. I might then follow this up with an 1176 Rev E for a subtle 1 to 2 dB of aggressive punch, if the vocal needs it. But usually I skip it because there's not enough DSP on my solo. This is the 2 or 3 stage process that gives you the character and smoothness of the tube opto designs and the surgical transparent density of the Capital Mastering Compressor, resulting in a vocal that is competitive, rich, and perfectly controlled. And most importantly, it was easy to get there. That's my ranking, that's my taste, that's my truth. Now I want to hear yours. Do you think I'm crazy for putting the Capital Compressor and S tier? Is the Distressor A tier or S tier for you? Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think of these plugins. If this deep dive saved you money, time, or DSP, or gave you one key takeaway, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps my channel grow, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.